And those of you who know me, know I'm not the most emotional guy in the world. I'm not too good with words, but if I may, I think I can best express what I feel with a song. Love is in the air. Oh, 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 love is in the air. Oh, yeah. Everybody. Love is in the air. Oh, oh, love is in the air. Oh. Love is in the air. Oh, 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 love is in the air. Oh, 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 yeah. Love is in the air. Oh, oh, love is in the air. Oh. I noticed you were looking at that when I came in.
Yeah.
It's an antique polygraph machine.
Is that what that is? Because I've seen these before, but I never saw one actually up close.
I own a company called the Amherst Group, and we do private investigations. We specialize in corporate investigations and polygraph exams. The bulk of our work, of course, is polygraph. When someone tells a conscious lie, in other words, if I tell you a story and I know what I'm saying is untrue, the first thing that happens is that the body will inject a shot of adrenaline into the bloodstream. From that point on, there is just an amazing amount of changes that take place in physiology. Some of them are very subtle, some are very dramatic. But of course, when you're looking at a polygraph instrument, it's all dramatic because these things are all electronically enhanced. So even the most subtle response, deceptive response, will show.
Relax, relax, the needles are jumping.
Your breathing pattern will change. Blood pressure will increase. And then, of course, then it decreases, and you can see this on the chart as it comes up and then comes back down again. Rate of perspiration increases and decreases. Your eyes actually dilate. If you have the proper measuring device, you can actually measure a change in your voice, in your pre-voice. Excretory system goes into high gear. Digestion completely shuts down. There's some very, very dramatic things that actually take place, and these are measurable things. And the polygraph measures some of these changes, and of course it reduces it to a piece of paper where we read the charts and determine whether or not you're actually telling the truth.
All right.
Looks complicated.
These two components are the pneumographs. There are two convoluted tubes that go around your stomach and your chest, and these measure changes in breathing pattern. This component is the GSR, the galvanic skin response, and that measures changes in perspiration levels. This last component is a cardiograph. We use a standard blood pressure cuff, same type your doctor uses. It goes here on your left arm. And that's going to measure any changes in heart rate, blood pressure, and blood volume at the cuff. Polygraph testing goes back many, many years. I believe it was in the 30s is when they started to experiment with actual instrumentation itself. Of course, you could go back years before that. There's been marvelous improvements since then, obviously. I mean, we're at the point now where we're computerized.
Now I'm going to ask you some questions, and all you have to do is answer yes or no.
Okay.
All right. Let's give it a whirl.
The scene where Robert De Niro's character gives Ben Stiller's character a polygraph test in the garage. This is where they actually test the components to Stiller's character, and then, of course, De Niro's character asks the questions and so on and so forth. An accurate portrayal of the setting that you would do a polygraph test in, sort of. The components, I think, were attached properly. The questions were not really polygraph questions because during a polygraph test, The examinee does not speak, only to say yes or no to questions.
Did we eat pot roast for dinner tonight?
Yes.
Was it undercooked?
No, it was rare. It was a little rare for my taste.
In the movie, there was a narrative where Stiller was actually making statements and carrying on a conversation. That's not real. But for entertainment purposes, I think it was terrific.
Well, he doesn't need a machine. He's a human lie detector.
What?
The airport scene where Robert De Niro's character actually grasps Ben Stiller's character's hands and he's asking him questions as if he's somehow testing truth or deception in Stiller's answers to the questions. The portrayal is accurate in that if you were actually feeling someone's pulse and you could accurately, it would be very difficult to do, you could accurately read or detect, if you will, a change in the pulse rate, then you could say, well, gee, maybe he's lying and maybe he's not, but I would not rely on that. Again, this is entertainment. It makes good movies, but this is not something that we would rely on. When we conduct these examinations, we are touching other people's lives, and if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it.
Now, these aren't 100% accurate, right? They're...
Well, you'd be surprised how accurate they are.
Research on polygraph testing is consistently 97–98% accuracy rate. Consistently. It's a good piece of equipment. It's used every day by thousands of law enforcement agencies, every branch of the military, the FBI, the CIA, all over the world. It really is good science. Personally, I don't think there's a way to beat the polygraph because there's no way to beat your physiology, the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic is a medical term meaning automatic, and when, again, your physiology is working properly, you have no control over those systems. You can't control how much sweat comes out of your pores. You can't control how high or how low your blood pressure is. You're not going to control how many times per minute your heart beats. It's very difficult to control your breathing, and if you do, it's very obvious when you look at the chart that you are trying to do that. So countermeasures, yeah, they can mess up the test to the point where I might have to look at it and say, well, this is inconclusive. But if I know you're practicing countermeasures, then I'm going to figure that you're being deceptive, because why would you do that if you have nothing to hide?
No more lies, you understand? No more lies.
If you're telling the truth, don't be afraid of it, because the polygraph is not going to hurt you. It'll help you. If you're not telling the truth, you have the option to refuse the test. Don't take it. I can't imagine anybody taking a polygraph test if they can't pass it. But they do, day in and day out, with great regularity.
Oh. Sorry.
When they started to cast Meet the Parents, we brought several teams of cats in to meet Jay Roach, the director of the film. And we brought our best teams of cats that were experienced, that we felt can handle the action, and we showed him the cats. And he liked the Himalayans. And when I brought the Himalayans in, I said, listen, these cats do have experience, but they're not bred to do a whole lot. And I picked at Misha and kind of, dropped him down a little bit, and the cat just sat there, and I said, see? And he's like, nope, I like those. And I said, okay. And my work began. You know how you have a dog and you tell him to sit, lie down on your feet, speak, do all the fun behaviors. You don't really do that with a cat. It's more coaxing and motivating, and you can get them to do a lot of stuff. They're brilliant. You can get a cat to sit up. You can get them to, go to a place and lie down or pick something up, retrieve like a dog would. I'm trying to think of what you cannot teach a cat to do, and I don't know if it's that you can't teach a cat to do something specifically. It's a matter of how much time do you have and how much patience do you have. You can train them to use a toilet, and they sell kits and everything where you can have your cat learn to be potty trained into the old-fashioned litter box. So you can't train them to flush, but you can train them to use a toilet. Cats are very touchy. They're very aware of their environment and what's going on around them, and they could spook very easily. And if something happens in their environment that they don't like or they feel it's not safe, you're not going to get that cat to work. Where a dog, you can kind of coax them through it. Come on, it's okay, it's all right, everything, you know, it's great, it's great, it's great, and then they come back. So you have to be so much more careful when you're working a cat on set than when you're working with a dog. And you always want to protect your animals and, you know, make sure nobody drops anything or spooks anything you have on set, but it's just much harder to get a cat to come back than it is to get a dog to come back. The first thing that I like to do when I get a cat is buzzer train it, and it's Pavlovian. You pair the sound of a buzzer or whatever sound you want to use, a click or a buzzer, to food, and every time you feed your cat, you buzz, buzz, buzz the whole time. And so now, every time they hear that buzzer, they're going to associate it with mealtime. And so what you do is, instead of doing it while they're eating, now you buzz and the cat comes looking for where that buzzer is, and it's what we call pay it. You give them their little treat. And they're like, come to the sound of the buzzer, there's something good there for me. And that's how you get a cat to run A to B, or, you know, climb a trellis, or do a lot of things that you see Jinx do in the movie. They're coming to a buzzer, and they learn their path and where the end point is, and they know that's where their payoff is, and the sound helps them remember that that's where they need to go, and voila, trained cat.
Who are you? Tell me who you are. Where do you come from?
The Jinx cats that we used for Meet the Parents, Misha was my main cat. He did, I would say, probably 85% of the work. He was backed up by another cat named Bailey, who did a lot of the holding, and when we dropped her off the roof, we used Bailey for that. Robert De Niro was extremely helpful. And we had one of the scenes in Meet the Parents where the cat jumps up on the table and takes a piece of bacon from his mouth. Now you think a cat, bacon, hey, they're going to really love it. Well, Misha wanted no part of bacon. I tried putting everything on the bacon. The cat would not touch it. The only thing that would work was sardine oil, and Robert De Niro allowed me to soak the bacon in sardine oil and put it in his mouth so the scene would work. That's going the extra mile. So I was very thankful to him. He made it all happen. The reason you always have more than one cat on a film is what I said earlier, they're touchy. If something spooks that animal, you can't shut down production for the day because the cat doesn't want to come out of its crate. That eats up a lot of time and a lot of money. So you always have backups. So, okay, cat number one, your main cat, something spooked it, doesn't feel like working right now. Great, cat number two can do the same thing. Out he comes, and you continue, so you're not wasting production time. I would say the biggest challenge is taking a brand new animal that's never seen what happens on a set and making them comfortable on a set, because you can't replicate that at home. You can train, you can train, you can train, and then you hope that you built a strong enough foundation that when you get to set, you have all the pieces in place. The cats that we have for Meet the Fockers all come from rescues, with the exception of Misha, who has been part of our company for quite some time. But Peanut came from a rescue in Virginia. She was given up for adoption, and we took a chance on her. And then I needed a couple of other cats, and we found two more at a senior rescue up in New York, outside of Albany. And Ledge came from a rescue in Cocoa Beach, so we kind of have a well-rounded group of kitties from rescues, and we love to do that when we can. You know, take an animal from the shelter and give it a home and train them up and give them a whole new life. And they become animal actors after, you know, Meet the Parents. We got other Himalayan jobs, and they went on and did that. Same thing with dogs. You get them for one project, and they go on to do movie after movie after movie. So it becomes a career and a whole new life for them.
Relax, relax. The needles are jumping. The needles are jumping. The needles are jumping. I'm a patient man. That's what 19 months of Vietnamese prison camp will do to you. He also lacked outdoor survival skills.
What?
Were you a part of that, Parker?
No.
Jack can't tired. Oh, no, Jack tired. Jack tired very well.
You spray painted his tail to make him look like Jinx, didn't you, Parker?
Did you do that in the CIA?